I just bought a super rare frame that I've wanted for years. Nukeproof disappeared in 2023 and I thought I would never find this frame. But now I get to see if chasing this frame for years was actually worth it. This is a Nukeproof Mega 297 in the limited edition white color, a frame I thought I would never own. I checked Pink Bike and Marketplace for years, and last month it finally popped up. Brand new, never built, still boxed up since 2023. It was listed at $2,300 in Canada, which comes out to $1,600 US. For a carbon frame and an EXT coil, that's wild. And since it's been sitting boxed up for a few years, I'm just being extra careful. Fresh grease, torque checks. I'm not sure if long-term storage affects anything, but it can't hurt to do this. Man, I still can't believe I got my hands on this thing, my first Nukeproof full suspension. If you didn't know, Nukeproof shut down in 2023 when their parent company imploded. The big online retailers, Chain Reaction and Wiggle, were owned by this gigantic European group, and that whole thing just collapsed financially. And when it went down, it pulled brands like Nukeproof and Vetus down with it. Shops got left hanging, employees were let go. It was messy. And for a while, everyone figured Nukeproof was just gone. Fast forward 2 years, and 2025 has been such a strange year for the bike industry. Brands that we thought were just poof, gone forever, are suddenly being resurrected. Out of nowhere, Belgian Cycling Factory swoops in and buys Nukeproof and brings the whole brand back to life. And here's the thing that messed with me. 1 week after I ordered this, they dropped the brand new Reactor V2, and I thought I was buying a relic from a brand that was gone, and then the brand wakes up again. But honestly, that doesn't change the fact that I've wanted this exact frame for years now, and I'm gonna build this up entirely from parts that I already have laying around, and my parts bin is not normal. So kicking off this crazy parts bin build with an EXT Era V2.1 fork. And since it's Black Friday time of year, lots of brands are having sales, so I bought some race face stuff. And this will be my first time trying race face Era bars, and I like the shape. I'm a little unsure about the stem because it's only 35 millimeters long, but it matched so well, especially with the tie bolts. I just had to do it. Then I cut the bars down to 770 millimeters while making sure to wear my respirator. I've accidentally inhaled carbon dust before, and it was nasty, and it's real bad for your health. Hey, what do you think? It's pretty wild to have an EXT fork to match the shock, right? But for the drivetrain and brakes, it's total parts bin chaos. Going with SRAM code brakes, I've always got along with these, and I guess you could say they're era appropriate for a 2023 frame. Going XX1 axis for the drivetrain, easy installation, no cables. And for the cranks, I finally get to try the Raceface Era V2 carbons. The only issue is, I've never messed with the cinch sprocket before. I finally bought all the tools for Raceface, so I hope this goes well. Can't get it. Struggling with this made me realize I should finally invest in a good bench vise. Ideally one that's made in America, and I want it to be so smooth that you can turn the handle and it'll spin a few times on its own. If you know of one, let me know in the comments. Struggling with that crank also took me back to working on bikes as a kid. I used to brute force everything because all I had for tools was a foldable Allen key set. Now that I have the proper tools, I never have to brute force anything. And honestly, if you're forcing a part on a bike, something's usually wrong. Bike parts are precision made. They're meant to fit together cleanly. That's why I'm super careful about torquing everything to spec. And when you do that, you trust the bike way more on the trail. As I ran the brake line through the frame with my trusty hose guide kit, this is such an early 2020s routing style. Now, most bikes are routed through the chainstay, but as I got to the front of the bike, I found a surprise. The hose pops out on the drive side. That's how they route it on British bikes, which is the opposite of what we do here in the US. In the past, when a frame had internal guide tubes for running cables and houses, I have poked through those before to reroute it, but on this frame, I noticed that the internal guides are completely wrapped in carbon, so I don't think I could drill those out. Plus, drilling and cutting inside carbon sounds like a recipe for disaster, especially when it's just an aesthetic thing of having the brake hose on the other side of the frame. I don't know, what would you do? I guess you could say leaving it the British way adds to the charm of building a frame from across the pond. Here on Evan's Mountain Bike Saga, I'm still a small channel, and that means no one's around to help me film. But how do I capture all these cool angles by myself? Well, it's simple. Here's my lineup. For riding shots that aren't POV, I use the Insta360 X5. And since this is a 360 camera, I can clamp it to the bike, or I stick it on a tripod and pick the angle later when I edit it. Then I mix those shots with the Ace Pro 2, and this has been my daily camera all year. It's super rugged. I've dropped it a couple times and still working good. The flip screen for selfie is really cool, and the built-in wind guard gives me the best audio out of any action camera that I've used. I also use the Insta360 Go Ultra for lightweight stuff. It's tiny and it's easy to mount anywhere, and it's perfect for vertical clips. With this setup, I can film all my riding shots by myself and make the videos feel way bigger than a one-person crew. And since Black Friday is here early, Insta360 has up to 33% off and free accessories on some bundles. Link is below if you want to check it out. All right, well, it's coming along, and that's not so bad. What do you think? But we got to wrap up this build so we can go ride. For the wheels, I'm going with Nukeproof Horizon V2 wheels. I've used the crap out of these wheels for years now, and I'd say these are some of the best wheels ever made. And Nukeproof wheels on a Nukeproof frame, I just had to do it. Then to cap off this build in the best way possible, let's hit it with some Schwalbe radial tires and go gravity casing in the rear, because I think this bike is gonna be a beast. So this Mega 297 is a size large enduro frame. It has 165 millimeters of rear travel, and it's meant for 170 millimeters up front, but I'm running the EXT fork at 180 millimeters, even better, right? Even though this is a 2023 frame, the geometry is still totally modern. It has a 64-degree head tube angle, right in line with other enduro bikes that you would see today. And it even has a universal derailleur hanger. So yeah, even with it being a couple years old, over the last couple years, bikes haven't really changed that much, so I feel really good about this purchase. I thought the gold SRAM cassette would match a little bit better, but that's just what I had in the parts bin. A bronze one to match the chain would look insane though. Because this is a full parts bin build, things might change later on. It really depends on how this bike rides once I get it on the trail. Well, the bike is almost finished and I couldn't wait any longer. I just weighed the bike and it's way lighter than I expected. With a coil shock, aluminum rims, and a gravity casing tire, I can't wait to ride this thing. Well, this is not the part of the video that I thought I'd be filming today. So I finished the build. I was hyped. I was getting the bike all tuned up. I got the bike on the ground. I sat on the bike and compressed the shock and immediately heard that sound. Massive air cavitation. The shock is blown. Brand new frame, brand new shock, and it's blown right out of the box, and I have no clue why. At home, I tried swapping a spare shock off my Ripmo, but the EXT eyelet hardware is just a hair different and it would not fit. And that was it. The whole plan for riding this bike today just evaporated. And this whole situation, it didn't just derail my day, it made me realize something. When I started this channel, I was the find the best deal guy. Pink Bike, Marketplace, eBay, that was my entire bike building ecosystem. This was during the COVID mountain bike hysteria with everything being out of stock. I had no other choice but to get crafty. And honestly, I had no clue what I was doing back then. I didn't have a mentor or anyone experienced to ask. I was just guessing and just bolting things together, but that's how I learned. But now, 5 years later, without me even noticing, I've been forced to change. The used market in 2025 is not the same used market that I got started in. Deals are rare, stuff is beat to death, and the risk of buying used now is way higher. And here's what I realized today. I barely chase the cheapest deals anymore, not like I used to. The shift already happened, I just didn't recognize it until this shock blew up in my face. Honestly, the used market isn't the problem, I just outgrew it. I ride differently now, I'm a better rider, and I'm way more specific about the parts that actually work for me on the type of build that I'm putting together. And if you're still out there chasing deals, trust me, I get it. I lived on Pink Bike for years, but at this point in my life, I just don't have the hours to tinker with sketchy parts. I wanna ride, get my footage, and get back home safely to the wife and kids, not solve another Pink Bike mystery. So instead, I've been buying new parts, not because it's fancy, because it's reliable, because I know exactly what I'm getting. And yeah, when I buy from a reputable dealer like N+1 Bikes, if something shows up damaged or wrong, I know that I can get help. I can literally call the owner, Sean. His number is right there on the front page. Doing it this way, I don't deal with surprise breakdowns. I don't deal with mystery problems or dangerous parts. For me, the used market gamble just isn't worth it anymore. And now, sitting here today, I'm left with this beautiful, dare I say, majestic Nukeproof Mega acting as a 36-pound paperweight. I don't know if EXT is gonna warranty this shock. I don't know if they'll need a receipt or bill of sale. I reached out to the guy I bought it from, and turns out he's a former bike shop owner, and he said his shop went out of business a while ago. So if I end up having to spend a few $100 on a new shock or even a few $100 to get this thing rebuilt, well, suddenly this killer $1,600 Pink Bike deal isn't that much of a deal anymore. But I'm not mad, I'm not blaming the seller, I'm not even calling out EXT. This is just part of the used market that no one talks about. When it goes right, it's amazing. When it goes wrong quietly, behind the scenes, in moments just like this, and it's pretty frustrating. But this doesn't ruin the story, it's just the next chapter. This frame is still sick, it's still a bike that I've wanted for years, but here's the kicker. Today is my birthday, and I just really want to ride this bike, man.